exactly would likely Republican voters decide to vote for you over the former president?
Yeah, look, I think that the more he's being unjustly prosecuted and really attacked using the levers of the justice system, the more I felt a sense of obligation to stand up for what is right. And I also believe in judging based on results. What are the results that I ultimately judge a president by? Did you keep us out of wars? And did the economy grow under your watch? There's a lot of other things that matter too, but those are two easy metrics. And I said he was the best president.
To keep us out of wars. No. Yeah, but he almost got the U.S. into a war. So, and he did bomb some guy in Iran, so-called terrorists in Iran, and he almost got them into war. So, but my main critique of this video is like, why are they're attacking him? Because of I guess rightfully so. He's supporting he's supposed to be against Trump in the primary, going against him, but he's not really attacking him. This is a portion of the interview with them. But there's other parts of the interview where there's policies that are totally crazy, and they're not really pushing him on that policy. They're attacking him more on his love of Trump, I guess. And that's the problem. And his audience criticized them for this. This is TYT I'm talking about. And they're criticized for that. And they kind of push back a day later. Sure, this is great, but where are the policies? They should have really done more on the policies. And he's right, Trump didn't put them in the war, but he almost did.
The 21st century. That's what I said on the debate stage. I stand by it. George Bush, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Donald Trump. It's not even close which one was the best one of the century. And so I respect him. And probably more than
of the century, he's the best president. Crazy. Yeah.
any other GOP presidential candidate. When I'm president, I will respect his legacy.
But they're right. This is a grift. This is kind of a grift. So they're right to call him out, but somebody's saying that you mentioned in the video this they're doing Trump what do you call it? This syndrome. Well, Trump syndrome. There's another name for it. But that's what they're doing. But these guys, they focus on Trump a lot. These guys, that's their main thing anyways. To focus on Trump. He's a threat to democracy. Maybe he is. But to go focus on him that much. I mean, they should go, I guess they do sometimes, to focus on the policies. But kind of they're kind of focused on, to focus on terrible things he said, and what's he gonna do. He made a report that he's gonna, when he came out, he made a speech. He's gonna hang this general. This guy, the chairman, the chief of the Joint Chiefs, they're gonna hang him. Trump said, if he, because what he did, he said about him, and he went against him. He wanted to oppose the martial law, and he said the general said no. All sorts of stuff. And when they attacked China, so there would have been a war with China, folks. And he said Trump didn't. So give him another year, and he would go to war with China. I bet you if he gets in again, he's gonna start a war. Not with Ukraine, because of Russia, but Iran. And he could have started a war with Iran, but Iran didn't retaliate. He bombed Iran. Nobody's talking about this, and they didn't retaliate. But anyways,
and honor it more than anybody else will, because I think it's the right thing to do, and I think it moves the country forward.
Yeah.
However, I have something that he does not. I am young. I have fresh legs. I think it's going to take somebody coming in from the outside to have the true, fresh perspective to lead the America First movement to the next.
so he's gonna be like a surrogate for Trump. So his argument is that he wants to, not really against Trump, he wants to take over. He thinks Trump is too old, and he's a young guy, and he wants to take over from Trump. According to him, that's his main thing here. He's a younger guy. You do his policies. He's saying that he's doing his policies, and that's why he's running.
Next level. I think I can unite this country by reaching the next generation of young Americans that have lost all semblance of national pride. And I can give you statistics to back that up. I mean, 60% of young Americans today say they would sooner give up their right to vote than to give up their access to TikTok. We have a 25% recruitment deficit in the U.S. military. Less than 16% of Gen Z says they're proud to be American. And I think there is no question which Republican candidate is, really which candidate, period, in this race is best.
Well, do what's going on, what America's doing now in the past 5 years, or 10 years, and all these wars. I mean, sure, you could be proud, but there's other side to it. Some are not proud of what's happening. I mean, their lives are terrible. And everything's inflation and everything else, and all these wars. So they're having it tough. And the student loan, no debt relief, no real relief for it. Certain these policies, certain Biden do some good incremental policies, but there's nothing really, and that's why how they could be proud of a country that doesn't seem to care about them, or you know what I mean?
Reaching young voters at a large scale. We sit in college campuses across this country. And so, yes, I think I will be able to reach that next generation and inspire national pride in that next generation better than anybody else in this race.
So, Vivek, you're saying
It's nonsense. It's pure nonsense.
then by definition, you're running against him. You are better than the best president of the 21st century. And that the main reason why you're better than Donald Trump is because you're younger than Donald Trump. Am I understanding that right?
And because as a function of being younger,
Ottawa's proposed electricity regulations will make electricity unreliable and unaffordable. We could have regular blackouts, and power bills could skyrocket up to 4 times higher than they are today. Visit telvotez.ca to learn more.
At Stripe2, we care about meeting all your decorating needs in one place. Whether you're shopping online or
I'm going to be able to reach the next generation, reunite this country. And I do think that reuniting this country and reaching the next generation will be part of what allows us to take the America First agenda to the next level.
I got you. But
I won't be
but
the
you're
same
better
person.
than Donald Trump,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I wouldn't be running if I didn't think I was the best candidate for the job. So, yes, I believe I am the best candidate for U.S. president. I think there are 2 America First candidates in the race. And I do think it has to be an America First candidate that leads the country forward. However, between it's the tried and true, I admit, if you want tried and true, you go with Donald Trump. If you want the next generation with fresh legs to lead us forward, you go with me. And I think that that's going to be the successful formula that leads us to success in this race.
I'm going to follow up on something you said earlier. You said that you would pardon Donald Trump on these unjust charges. So if you pardon him on taking national secrets without permission, not returning them, lying to the FBI, etc. Does that mean that Joe Biden is allowed to do the same thing? That he could just take national secrets, show them to anyone he likes? Even after he's president, he could just take the documents, bring them home, show them to anyone he likes. And maybe other people too, anyone who's got access to national secrets. Can they just show them to everyone? Or is it just a special privilege that Donald Trump gets to have because you like it?
Well, it is whether you like the law or not, I believe in this thing called the law. And the law does give what's that?
I say I'd love to see it because Donald Trump has broken about a dozen laws and you'd say you'd pardon him on every one of those criminal actions.
Well,
so,
well,
okay,
I
prove
think
it.
that I think part of the reason why is that those laws that are alleged to be broken, I don't believe have been broken here. If I did believe that and believe it was definitive, then I wouldn't adopt the position that I do. Every case brought against him levels a novel legal theory never before.
No. That is to be determined by the courts, actually. No, we could have a theory. We could have an opinion that it is broken. He did probably broke the law. And that if a normal citizen did this, definitely this wouldn't be no kid gloves. I mean, the problem is they took too long doing this, coming up, arresting him, indicting him. That's the problem. Any normal citizen wouldn't be this long.
Used. So for the particular case that you asked about, and I believe in getting into details. Details matter. If you're going to convict somebody criminally, yes, the details doggone well matter. So the Presidential Records Act explicitly lays out the criteria for what documents a prior president is and is not able to access. If you don't like the law, change the law. But part of the reason is that we already entrust the U.S. president with making all kinds of incredible judgments, whether or not to use nuclear weapons on down. So yes, that same president we do entrust when leaving office with access to those same records. The judges have interpreted it, and even in the Clinton sock drawer case, as it related to Bill Clinton, revealing undoubtedly classified information afterwards, a judge explicitly came down on interpreting that statute. So I believe
it's not the same thing, though. I mean, he didn't keep. There weren't any, like, I don't think he did. Any other candidates. Like Joe Biden had documents. Obama did too, and accidentally. But I don't think they'll keep them for months and unwilling to give them back. I don't think they did what these other even Bush he had documents. But the former presidents didn't do what Donald Trump did. So that's why it's different. And especially he's charged with using these, I think using these documents or he's just charged with using for something else. Some kind of racketeering. He's just charged with taking the documents. I think maybe if he's using them for something illegal, something else illegal, I don't know if he's charged with that too, or if it's just for taking the documents. In any ways, he's far different from any other former president.
Detailed articles in the Wall Street Journal and elsewhere. But why am I bothering talking about it as opposed to legal scholars elsewhere? Let them debate it. My job is to unite this country.
The same thing.
And I do not think it sets a good precedent when the President of the United States and the Justice Department under him uses police force to indict its political opponents in the middle of an election and then issue gag orders to say that opponent during the presidential election can't even talk about that relevant set of issues. I just don't think that's a good precedent, and I don't want to see that in one direction or the other.
It's not the same thing. The problem is that it's not like that. I think Merrick Garland is independent of, unlike Trump, who actually did went after the opponents. He did go after Biden and Biden's son, and all the laptop thing came out before. Is around when he started when Trump was in office, and his attorney general went after Biden's son. But it's not like that. It's not like he did it. Merrick Garland went after him because the Biden told him to. And plus, there's other state prosecutors are now going after Trump in Georgia. There's so many things, but it appears like that because they waited so long to charge him. That's the problem. So there's appearance of like going after your political opponents. There's appearance of that. So that's why.
Do you believe it's a good precedent to implement a slate of fake electors to overturn the results of our democratic process and go against the will of the American voters?
So
that's another one too. That's illegal.
look, I think that there were serious issues that need to be discussed relating to election integrity. However, I would not have made those same judgments that Donald Trump did. This, though, belongs to the voters. This is a judgment for the voters of this country, not a judgment for a justice system that lands people in prison as its ultimate goal, especially political opponents. I just think that's bad for the United States of America.
Okay.
So leave it to the voters. Trust the voters to
Yeah,
make
but
the
that's
decision of who governs,
Okay.
instead of trying to take it out of the voters' hands. And I
So
don't think that
Vivek-
should be a controversial idea.
Yeah, it's definitely controversial because what you're saying is.
Leaving it to the voters is controversial.
No,
It
not
is
that.
when
Hold on.
the
Not
former
that.
president
Yeah,
broke
not that
laws, including going against the will of the American voters by
You're
implementing a
asserting-
slate of fake
you're
electors,
asserting that
which
he
were
broke the
noted
law.
as such in
You're
memos
asserting
passed
before he
around
broke-
within the Trump campaign. They were referred to as fake and fraudulent electors by Trump's co-conspirators. That is part of the evidence. Another piece of evidence that I think is compelling, to say the least,
Yeah.
is that they had fake electors in the state of New Mexico.
You're right. They should say alleged fake electors. He has a point actually, because it hasn't really proven yet, right? It should be allegedly, but they probably did do it. But I see what he's kind of saying.
Which had absolutely no pending litigation in regard
So
to election
in the court
fraud.
and legal system, and if you want to go into the details of this, the First Amendment absolutely protects, and courts have held this for a long time, dating back to a case called Alvarez, I think it was in 2012, that political officials, including candidates for election, unfortunately, like it or not, have the First Amendment right not to tell the truth. That's just a fact. It's not something that we
So
should
Donald Trump was
necessarily.
lying. So Donald Trump was
Well,
lying.
that's for the courts to decide. But what
So
I'm telling
then he
you
should
guys
be
is-
tried. If it's for the courts to decide, and we
I
live in a
just-
country of laws, and he's being charged with a very important
So I actually disagree with
criminal
you.
act, why do you get to decide instead of the court system and say, oh, just let him off? Who cares what that
Because
is?
nobody else has been charged under the same set of facts.
Because no
Look
one
at
else
how
tried to
it
do
is
a
looking
coup
at
against America with a fake
That's
elector
actually
scheme.
false.
Do you know a second person who's ever been accused of that?
We've had contested elections dating back to the late 1800s in this country, and a lot
Yeah, but
of
no
courts have
one
gone
ever
down.
did fake electors and tried to do a coup, Vivek. So are you saying, because this is really important, because good for the goose is good for the gander. So you're saying Joe Biden, on his way out, can take any national secrets and show them to anyone he likes. Maybe you could even sell them, whatever. He can just take them. Who
You
cares?
can sell them.
And hold
I'm
on.
pretty clear about this. You
Okay.
can sell them.
Okay, all right. But
I just want
if
to
Donald
know
Trump is
between you and
charged
I-
with selling them,
let me
are
just-
we allowed to try him then?
We're
Or do we
beyond
just
for
have to let
hours.
him go no matter what he's
We're-
charged with?
We're going to be on for most of an hour, so I think it's just important for you to understand something about me. I care about the details. Facts actually matter. I don't care
I
about.
care about the details as
random
well.
jousting
And
of
you
verbal
just implemented
diarrhea.
a law having
So-
to do with political speech of a president and extended it to the actions of the president. If the actions of the president are criminal, he should be held to the same. Excuse me, I'm still speaking. Can you please let me finish my statement?
Yeah.
Okay? With the actions of the president happen to be illegal actions, especially in the context of our democratic process, you genuinely believe that that individual should not be held accountable for what he engaged in. You think that any former sitting president of the United States can attempt to steal elections, can attempt to implement.
I don't think he really believes that. I think if it was a Democratic president, they probably won't believe that. Yeah, I don't think he really believes that.
Fake electors and go against the will of the American people. Is that what you're arguing here?
And I just want to address you correctly. What's your name?
I mean, you just came on my show. You don't know my name? My name's Anna.
I don't actually. I thought I was talking to Jack. What's your name?
My name is
Oh,
Anna.
that's this there, folks. But the thing is, the problem with these guys, TYT, they don't let them finish. I know that. They don't let the people talk. I mean, you're interviewing somebody, you don't let them finish. Then you could let them finish their statement. Then you go after them. That's the problem with this. And that's why a lot of people, they think that they kind of attacked him. They don't really let him explain. But on this, and they went too much topic of Trump. But a lot of the other things, they didn't really attack him on that. I would attack him more on his policies, but they attack him more on Trump. That's the problem with this interview. And these guys are more, they attack certain people, you know that. That's what they attack Orlani, the black lawyer, they attack like this. He knows that they attack something like that. Somebody's more, seems to me it's like a pattern. They're attacking like minorities more. If you interview somebody, I notice that. Because somebody on the on the right, and what's his name? They attack. Actually, it was a debate. They seems to really like, just like Jink went on Patrick David podcast, and he was really civil. He didn't really attack him on anything. It seems like certain people like this, people like they seem like they're clown shows. I think that's what they think of Orlani. Like she's a clown show, but this guy is really a clown show. But somebody is like serious, like Orlani, and talking about prison reform. And that's what they did to her. They didn't allow her to talk, didn't allow her to explain herself. If I would let him explain himself and then attack, then I'll go back on him. But they just interject to the argument. That was the problem with this.
Anna, good. No, we're going to be chatting for a while. I just wanted to address you conversation.
Should have prepared for the
So,
interview
Anna,
ahead of time.
Well, Anna, you guys invited me on your show. I'm making some time for you guys. I'm happy to have the open debate. Let's get some facts actually straight here.
I thought you were detail oriented. I don't know. It's just you're the one.
You are making. I didn't mean that as a personal affront, Anna. I promise you, and I'm looking forward to getting into substance with you. So the reality is, you're making an assertion that he broke the law, and then everything that you're doing is working backwards, making a legal judgment on a
It's not an assertion. He did broke the law, kind of. Like he maybe did broke the law. Why are there charges then? But it has to be proven in the courts, though. You see, these guys they don't know how to interview. They shout over him, they don't allow him to explain certain things. That's a problem.
Complex legal theory that has never been brought against a defendant in American history. So that's a circular reasoning. It's a circular loop.
No, it's not.
It's not a legal theory, but it's never been tried before. Okay, he's right. But no one Jink was right before. No one has ever done this sort of thing.
Like, that doesn't make any sense what you're saying. Vivek, we're not making
this
the
legal theory.
But Vivek, you're going in circles. Hold on, let's be clear.
Nope.
So what we're not making the assertion. Prosecutors are making that assertion. And you're saying, do not let the prosecutors do their job. Foreclose that. I don't want to discuss this. Hold on. Let me finish.
This is a
So
bad
can
interview.
Joe
This is a bad interview, folks. They don't know how to interview. See, they love to talk over. They don't allow the guy to talk. This guys are wrong. You could really shame this. You could go after him. I mean, they should go after him on the policy. But the one policy he said about was with FBI. To reform the FBI, and there's certain things he was saying. It sounds crazy, but when he put it like that, it sounds pretty reasonable actually. So it sounds good. But the thing is, they just everything else was crazy. It was a clown show, and they didn't really push back on those. I think there's another video. Hopefully they have their whole videos out, the whole interview they release. I'd like to see that. I'd like to make a rundown of that. But yeah, the whole thing is didn't really push back on that. I mean, I would have. They just allow him to speak, but they push back on this, on Trump. That was the problem. That's why his audience, his viewers, his people in the chat, they got upset with this.
Biden do a fake elector scheme and just make up electors and declare himself president as Donald Trump wanted to do. And you admitted earlier he is lying. Donald Trump was lying. And so can Joe Biden lie and say, I've got fake electors, and I'll even call them fake electors, and then you're not allowed to prosecute them because you just said, that's it. No one's allowed to prosecute former presidents. Go ahead. So is Joe Biden allowed to do the same exact thing?
Let me just ask you guys a question, because I think I'm getting a sense
Or
for
you
your
can answer our
command of the
question.
details here. Which case would you like to talk about?
Fake
so many
electors.
cases.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
fake electors. Is Joe Biden allowed to do the same
One of
fake
you is talking
electors?
about documents, and one of you is talking
Because he
about
broke so many
alleged-
laws, but let's stick
fake
with fake
electors.
electors. Go ahead.
Which one would you like to discuss?
Fake
We'll
electors,
go one
go
at a time.
ahead.
Yeah. So there is no crime here that can be charged. That's the answer. There's no relevant crime. Now, can voters take this into account?
No, there is a crime. Nah, he's wrong. There is a crime. We all know that, folks. There is a crime, but the thing is, it has to be proven if it is. And if he did do it. That's the thing. I think he knows that too. I mean, I think they should know he knows that. So they should have moved on from this kind of.
When determining who their next president is? Absolutely. That's exactly how our process works. But our Constitution has a process that has been followed, and it was followed here. And the U.S. president absolutely, even if he's the outgoing president, has an opportunity to share his opinion, even if those opinions are not true, and if that's found in a court of law. I don't have a view on that, but that's what the allegations are.
That's what a
There's
court of
still
law is,
strong-
Vivek, but you're saying we're not allowed to go to a court of law.
I'm not saying that you're not allowed to. I'm saying that I would pardon him, because I think that these do not match the actual law that the Supreme Court has held applying to these set of facts. And I think it's a bad
No.
judgment for the U.S. Justice Department to bring this case, because it divides.
Okay, they could take it to the Supreme Court actually. If they could, I don't know if they could take it to, if they appeal it. See if he does get charged, I guess, or convicted. Could they appeal it to the Supreme Court? That's an interesting thing. I think he's wrong, but this is not precedented anyway. I mean, they're right. There's nothing like this. I mean, nobody has done this, so we don't know that. But you can't have fake electors. I don't think so. You can't just. I think there is a law. But the thing is proving it. I think the thing is proving this.
country, and it sets
does he?
an awful precedent that will now be used going forward.
Or does he is he involved with it too? Or is it just his people? Certain other individuals, yeah. You could say that he didn't but his witnesses are on there who say that he's connected to them, and they have them on the indictment. So they connected to them, so they could flip on Trump. But we'll see. We haven't yet, but
Forward for years unless we do something about it. Unless it takes a leader who actually unites this country. This is the new precedent in the United States of America. The new precedent is the party in power will look at who the opponent is and throw the legal statute book at them. That's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to find a crime and then decide whether or not you want to prosecute it according to the same standard.
I think Trump has already done that, I think. So
Used for every American. That is not what's happening here. And there is little doubt that if Donald Trump were not running for president, they would not have brought these charges.
you might be right about that, folks. Could have waited so long to it seems like they came about when he announced. All of a sudden these charges came up. That's because of they waited so long. So it appears that they did this because of politics. That's the problem.
So I think that if you ask me, does this move towards uniting the country or not? I think it does not. I think it moves towards dividing the country, which is why I have been clear. Even though
It's already divided, though, folks. This has nothing. It was nothing to do. It's not going to do nothing. Because no matter what, the MAGA will still vote for him, and the people on the Democrats will vote for the Democrats, and the people in the middle. That's a problem. I don't think people will vote for it in the center. I don't think they care about this, pretty much. It's not going to do anything. People in the center are not going to do anything. They're the PMC. They're not going to PMC class. They're not going to do anything. Just people in the suburbs. You know what I mean? And the MAGA will vote for him no matter what, so.
I'm running against Donald Trump, I would pardon him if I'm elected president, because that will move this nation forward. And I do not think that we should be guided by vengeance and grievance against one man. I do not think that that helps the United States of America. That's why I'm in this race, and that's why I clearly answer your question. You asked me, why would I pardon? That's why I would pardon.
And just to be clear, you have absolutely no problem with the Trump campaign implementing fake electors in the state of New Mexico, which had no pending litigation in regard to election fraud. You're okay with that?
There is a difference between
Answer
what
the
I've made the
question.
same judgment.
Yes or no?
I don't think that's illegal. I do not think
You don't think that's
anything
illegal?
that's been laid out.
Okay, you don't value our democratic process. Great to hear it.
Anything that's laid
Let
out
him
has
talk
been a
about it.
violation of the law. That's what I believe.
Okay.
That's amazing.
You should let him talk. See? You let him talk, and then you it's amazing indeed. This guy is a clown show, but their audience didn't like this because it was so bad. You should allow him to talk, finish his shit in his sentence, then you attack him. But they interrupted him. That's what they always do. It seems like they always do. They interrupt people. Certain kinds of people they interrupt. He knows that. People like a minority, brown-skinned people, like seem that they interview people like that. They interrupt people like that when they have debate or interview. It seems that way. Talk over people, don't allow them to finish. That's why their audience didn't like this. Oh yeah, and they talked about. That's what I remember now. What he said. He said there's so much. He called them. They cut that out, or there was another part of the interview. You know what I mean? They talk about Trump derangement syndrome. That's what they said. They're doing.
Okay, all right.
Thanks for watching.
That's what they're doing, right? So nobody liked this interview. The audience didn't like this interview. But some do, but a lot of them didn't. and they made him kind of, this guy's a clown show, and they made him more favorable. I mean, made him more credible. And he's not a credible guy. He's not a credible candidate. But she's right. She said something about him and being a spoiler candidate to prevent the other Republicans from in the primary from catching Trump. Like he's taking votes away from them. So he's like a spoiler. So he's helping Trump in a way. So that's what she's saying. He's a spoiler candidate. So she's right about that. But this guy is a clown show. And it wasn't too much Trump. But they showed this part of the interview. I want to see the whole interview when they break it down. But too much Trump. And they didn't allow him to. See, the audience didn't like that. They didn't allow him to speak. Their audience. They didn't allow him to speak. I mean, so it made him look good actually. But he shouldn't be. It's a clown show. Anyways, folks, I'm gonna end this video. I'm out.